These are 5 deadly habits that are killing your ability to manifest. And once you start to realize how simple it is to fix them, you'll realize you can totally unlock the floodgates of bringing that positive energy and attracting that which you want into your life. So, number 1, most of us don't manage our relationship properly with desire. Now realize, if you desire something, that's great. You gotta want it. You don't go to the gym because you don't desire to go. You go because you do desire to go, of course. But with desire, there is an energy to desire. And so there's an energy of desire, which is the one you do want, which is where it's an energy of excitement. It's an energy of abundance. It's an energy of knowing. It's an energy of believing, right? That's the good version of desire. However, I would argue about 2-3% of people tap into that aspect of desire. The other 90+% look at desire from that lack mindset, right? That separation, right? And so the energy of it's a little bit different. It's, oh, geez, when is it going to come? I want this so bad. The more you want something, the more you don't have it, right? Like, think about it. If I know that I've got dinner cooking and it's going to be ready in about 2 minutes, my level of desire for dinner, I might be hungry, don't get me wrong, but my level of desire, it's not like, oh, geez, I want food so bad. It's like, dude, it's going to be right around the corner in 2 minutes, right? So the energy of desire needs to be managed in a positive way. It needs to be full of belief and not full of lack. And also be very careful of how you manage the time frame and the how that comes along with manifestation. Most of us make the mistake of concerning ourselves way too much with when is this thing going to arrive? When is this person going to arrive? When is this job going to arrive? When? And then we also really create a lot of resistance by worrying about the how, right? Because if you think and feel from the end, usually the how is almost like a tow rope and it just tows you in. If you have the right energy and the right vibe, it's almost like the how almost kind of like reveals itself. It's like, oh, here it is. Instead of you worrying about it, let it come. So that's number 1. So the number 1 deadly habit that's holding you back is desire. Number 2, and we kind of touched upon it a little bit, but I want to go deeper, is time, right? Think about the last time that you struggled and you felt that lack and you kind of wanted something, but you kind of rushed it, right? Most of us, our perception of when it should arrive is almost always too soon, right? Oh, I want to find true love. What do you think it's going to happen? Tonight? Probably not. This weekend? Maybe, but let's be honest, probably not, right? Because even at best, if you went on a date tonight and a date this weekend, right? Assuming you could find 2 people worth your time to do that, what are the chances of that turning into love? There's still, curiosity, getting to know each other. First dates are a little bit awkward, right? But what we do oftentimes is we rush the time function. And when you rush the time function, you're basically competing against something you can't control. The universe, God, source, whatever you're into, that's who knows when the time is right, right? But the time that you think is right is almost always never the right time. The time is when the time it will be. The time will arrive when it's time. So don't force the issue of time, because don't forget, we want to use power, not force. If we're forcing something, we're pushing it. There's resistance coming back, equal and opposite to what we're pushing on. Power is a little bit more like of accepting. It's believing. It's like, hey, I know it's coming, so I'm not going to worry about when. But you should also be at a point in your life where if there's things that you want, like, you should have so many other things that are going on where it shouldn't be all riding on that one thing. So if you want to have a relationship, okay, great. But you should have some great friends. You should have a great job, some great hobbies, to the point where it's like, yeah, I want this thing, right? I want this person, this thing, this job, whatever it is you want. But there should be so many other things in your life that are going on that the time issue isn't as much of a concern. However, when people are a little bit either codependent or a little bit too much all in, sometimes if you're all in on one thing, that's when the time function becomes a little bit more difficult to handle. So number 2 is time. Number 3, I've got a cheat sheet, is consistency. So let's think about this. Consistency of what, right? When we say consistency, what does it even mean, right? Let's get some clarity around it. You always want to have clarity. Clarity is king. And clarity and consistency do kind of dance together. So let me explain. So when it comes to consistency, what do you want to consistently be doing? Well, you want to be consistently putting out the energy, almost like casting a line, I always say, of the thoughts of like thinking about that which you desire, gaining some clarity, imagining it, getting super clear on what it is, but also imagining on a consistent basis. Sometimes what people will do is they'll imagine what they want for a minute, right? And then you hope that they're doing it with the correct energy, the one of abundance and not one of lack, right? Like we talked about with desire. But then also sometimes when people are doing it, they're also inconsistent with thinking from the end and thinking from the desired result. Sometimes, a lot of times, what people will do is they'll make the mistake of being inconsistent, meaning that one time they're imagining what they want and desire, the next time they're imagining all the things that might resist it, all the things that might come in the way, all the things that happened in the past that made them not get that person, place, or thing because of things they've done in the past. They bring that energy into their now. And that's not the way you want to do it, right? So when we talk about consistency, we're kind of looking at it in two different levels. One, the consistency of imagining in general, that's one. But then the consistency of also imagining that which you desire, but from a place of abundance and with the right energy, right? Not from that negative energy, because then what you're doing is you're actually having a negative manifestation effect, right? So, there's sometimes people don't realize it, but they're actually pushing things away. And those are the deadly mistakes you want to avoid. Number 3 is consistency. Number 4, let's talk about imagination. So people always say the same thing. Oh, you got to visualize, you got to visualize. That's 20% of it, maybe 30, maybe 40, right? We'll call it 40. Now, here's the thing. You have 5 senses. If you just visualize, that is important, and it is arguably the most powerful thing you want to do when it comes to your imagination. You want to visualize, you want to see it in your mind's eye, right? However, you've got to activate the other senses, right? You got sight, sound, taste, feel, touch. I always forget. I never get all 5. But you can look it up. You know what the senses are because you have them. Now, here's the thing. You want to always be thinking one thing. This is the most simple way to do it. You want to close the distance, the gap between that which is imagined and that which is real, right? How do you close the gap? Imagining with 5 senses. So let's think of it this way. I have this thing that I want and I want to imagine it, right? And then I want it to become my reality. So the imagination bridges the gap, right? So the more senses I activate, the more my brain and body feels as if these two things are at one, meaning they almost feel as if they're happening now. It's not even like a desire or lack or like, I want this thing. It's almost like a movie, like you're like, wow, I'm experiencing this thing right now. You want to experience it to the level where you're activating the emotions, the end product of that event actually becoming a reality. That's the true goal. But you're using your imagination and you're using 5 senses, because don't forget, if you only use 1 sense, right? So if I want to close this gap and I just visualize it, all right, I close the gap a little bit, but now I can hear it. Like, let's say it's a conversation with a loved one or a partner, soon to be partner. Oh, I'm going to think about the conversation. We're talking about this hobby that I have. Then we're talking about what we're going to do on vacation. Then we're going to talk about Aruba. Like, you can let your mind go wild. Imagine whatever you'd like. And then you can think about, I was going to say how they taste. All right, fine, we'll go there. When you kiss them, how does it taste? Oh, geez. Anyways, and you can think about how they feel. What's their skin feel like, right? Every time you activate and bring in one of those additional senses, you are closing that gap between that which is real and that which is imagined, which makes it feel more real, feel more close, and that's the vibe, energy, and signature that you want. Because don't forget, here's the thing that no one really talks about. When you feel as if it's happening now, you're making that feeling certain, removing doubt, familiar, meaning even if it hasn't happened in the past, you're feeling like it's happening now, and it's becoming more comfortable. It's like, wow, I almost feel like I'm already spending time with this person. So all of those things and how they work, it's not like they magically work, but what they're really doing is preparing your nervous system to feel completely at home and comfortable when you finally meet that person. You can be like, oh my God. Like, think about it. That one relationship you had where all of a sudden you're with somebody like, oh, I feel like I've known you forever. Yeah. You feel like you've known them forever because you've probably imagined them in detail to the point where you've closed that gap. And in your mind's eye, you imagine things in such detail. It's almost as if you've already imagined this person as being someone you would meet. And then you probably just forgot about it. And then here you are in a moment, having a moment with them, spending time with them in reality, right? So everything always happens internal first, external second. Remember that. So number 4 is imagination. And finally, number 5, beliefs and narratives. Let's talk about it. Boy, let's talk about it. When it comes to beliefs and narratives, a lot of us believe, we let our limiting beliefs have way too much control, right? So, oh, well, I'm not sure this person's for me. We have all these. So don't forget, you've got, here are the 3 main beliefs you always want to have on your radar. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Mistakes and failure are bad. Those 3 come up time and time again, and there's narratives that sprout out from those beliefs. So you always want to be on the lookout for these beliefs. Why? Because if you have a limiting belief, it's very powerful and it can hold you back, right? So let's say, for example, you don't believe you're worthy of love. Okay, well, there's an emotional signature and there's a vibe and an energy to that you're not worthy. And that's going to be a habit that you don't want to have when it comes to wanting to manifest love, you know? And so you want to be very aware of your beliefs around love. Like, so let's keep it on love for a moment. And we'll move to money in a second because that's equally as important for many people. So let's talk about love. What are your beliefs about love? If you say, well, I don't know, I'll be honest with you, I just believe that love's hard to find. Okay. Now, you can only say that based on your past. And then if you say it in the past, then you're going to start to bring that same energy into the future. And then you're also going to have narratives that sprout out of that belief that are not going to serve you. They're not going to bring that partner to you because you don't even believe you're worthy. Why should the universe, God, or source deliver you on a platter this perfect partner if you don't even believe you're worthy, right? Because your beliefs on whether you're worthy or not are usually not even substantiated, right? Most people that I've met that feel they're not worthy are more than worthy. But it doesn't matter what I think, it's what they believe. So be very aware of your beliefs around relationships. I believe relationships are awesome. I believe that relationships come to me, when it's time. I believe that I'm the type of person that loves myself so much that people that meet me are going to feel that vibe, feel that energy, and want to be with me, right? These are the type of beliefs that you want to have that serve you. And then the narratives that I just shared with you that go along with them, you want to be using those narratives in conversations you have with people. Spread that energy, spread that word. You really want to be managing your narratives because don't forget, your narratives are what are heard by not just you, but the universe and others. And you know what? If I've got someone that I can introduce you to, and I hear you sharing with me limiting beliefs about yourself that I don't feel like I'm worthy, and I don't know, I just think relationships are tough. It's hard to find someone these days. You can't trust people. So think about it. This is why you don't manifest. If I'm sitting there and I've got like a guy that would be possibly a perfect match for you, do you really think I'm excited to be like, oh, hey, you sound miserable. You sound like someone that's going to bring my friend down, even though he's at a great point of his life. Do you really think I'm going to want to make an introduction? No. And that's what manifestation is. It's not magic, right? It's just putting energy out to the people in the universe and everything around you that's listening, and knowing that if you're bringing out the right energy, you will receive that which you desire. Okay? It's not some foo-foo woo-woo thing. It's just straight up how things work. It's just straight up how it works. Everyone's like, oh, do you believe in law of attraction? I'm like, no, I just believe that there's a way that things work. And that's just it. You want to call it whatever you want to call it. You want to call it law of vibration, law of attraction? Sure. It's just how things work. I don't want to hook you up with my friend because you make me even feel miserable and I won't even be the one going on a date with you. So instead, you want to have the beliefs, have the narratives that support the universe and people wanting to give you that which you desire. And even when it comes to money, people often, what do poor people say? Money's hard to come by. It's hard to get a good job. The government's out to get you. Taxes, taxes, taxes. I get it. I understand. But you know what? That's a belief that you've adopted. Why not adopt the belief that rich people have? Money comes easy to me. Money's not that hard to make. Because the honest truth is, and I believe this full-heartedly, that the more value you offer, the more you get paid. So find a way to offer more value. If you think money's hard to come by, why don't you try saying this? Money comes easy to those who provide value. Okay, then find a way to provide value. Think of the skills you have that solve a problem that someone else has. Boom, that's called money. That's how you make money. Like, think about it. If I give you money for something, it's because I believe that whatever you're giving me back is more valuable than the money I'm giving you. If I give you $20 cash, it's because whatever you're giving me, I feel is worth at least $30, $40, or maybe even $1,000, right? That's how it works. Money's not that difficult. It's a value exchange. That's it. Change your beliefs around money, change your beliefs around and narratives around relationships, and trust me, things will change. Most of the reason why you don't manifest is because you're making these deadly habitual patterns and these mistakes on a consistent, regular basis. Make the change, write all 5 of these down, listen to this video multiple times, take notes, put down, and hold yourself accountable. Tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. If you write down and you say the things that you're gonna do and put them in the comment section, say, I'm gonna work on this today, I'm gonna work on that, I will hold you accountable. I'll shoot you a message. I'll respond to your comment. I want to support you. I want to see you guys do well. Follow, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and watch this next video. You're going to love it too.